Hey guys, it's FallenHobo here, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the Kriss. But before I start that, I'd like to show you guys the recoil pattern, which I find very interesting. Here we go, full auto. Yeah, pretty strong recoil pattern. Now, doing it scoped in is even more crazy. Look at that. It's pretty intense. Now, scoped in tap firing is pretty hard. Oh, damn you. Pothead 123. Okay. Um, FallenHobo, how are you? I'm good. Okay. Sorry about that. Oh shoot. No, go away, pothead. No. Okay. Continuing where I left off. Tap firing. It's possible, but the recoil pattern, it zigzags. Go away, pothead. Okay. Uh, it zigzags, which makes it pretty hard. It still can be done, but it's pretty hard. Now let's get on with the actual review. Alright guys, let's get started with this review. First of all, you guys may have noticed that there was no mini-tage in the beginning of this video, and I'm really sorry about that. I don't have the time to collect accolades and edit them right now, but I will try to have a mini-tage for the next review. So yeah, I'm very sorry about that. Now moving on to the actual review. To start things off, the Kriss was recently added to Commodore Arms during this month's content update. I have played with the Kriss for multiple games, and I must say that the Kriss is quite disappointing, at least in my opinion. But I'll be talking more about that later on in the review. Anyways, the Kriss comes with a unique 28 round magazine with 78 rounds in reserve. It also has really fast draw speed and reload just like any other SMG. It's unlocked at the rank of SFC2 and costs 1200 GP to use for a day, which is up there with the MP7 and PP19 in terms of cost. Now, power wise, the Kriss is pretty average for an SMG, coming with 33 points in power. It is a 3-shot kill to the back and is a 4-shot kill to the front of a medium vester, dealing about 26 to 27 damage, which is quite disappointing because I was expecting it to be at least somewhat close to the power of the UMP, which deals a heck lot more damage than the Kriss. The Kriss is also weaker than the MP7 and the M960, but however, the Kriss is stronger than some other SMGs in the game, such as the Uzi, which has 3 less points in power. And also, you guys will have to be really careful if you do decide to put a suppressor on the Kriss, because at close range it will turn from a 4-shot kill to a guaranteed 5-shot kill, so you guys have to be really careful about that. Now moving on to rate of fire, the Kriss comes with 90 points in rate of fire, which is the highest you can get for a SMG. Just like the Uzi, it shoots insanely fast, and it definitely shoots faster than the PP19 and the P90 series. The Kriss has decent power and really good rate of fire, so the Kriss technically is a pretty powerful SMG, but however, it does have some major disadvantages, such as its recoil, which I'll talk more about later on in the review. Now moving on to accuracy, the Kriss has really good accuracy for SMG, definitely above average, coming with 73 points in accuracy, which is pretty much the same level accuracy as the UMP. It's more accurate than the Uzi and the MP7, which comes with 70 points of accuracy, which is 3 points less than the Kriss. So yeah, you guys can look forward to good accuracy for this SMG. Now moving on to portability, the Kriss is very good portability for a SMG, coming with 88 points, which is 3 points more than the Uzi. Now I'm not 100% sure if the Kriss is lighter than the Uzi, because it's really hard to measure portability, especially for SMGs, so I'm not quite sure if this is a stat fail or not, but anyways, the Kriss is very light. It's pretty much the same as the Uzi, if not better, so you guys can look forward to really good portability as well. Now moving on to recoil, which I find extremely interesting with the Kriss. Now the recoil itself is not that high. It's somewhat average for a SMG. The recoil is not too bad, but the biggest thing about the Kriss is the recoil pattern. It moves diagonally after the first few shots, which is extremely annoying. I know this from experience. As I was playing this game, I was trying to shoot this guy at medium range, but my reticle was flying left and right. It was so hard to get my reticle right onto him because the recoil pattern was just so messed up. So this is a major disadvantage of the Kriss, and it's really hard to take advantage of decent power and good rate of fire when you have such messed up recoil patterns. So you guys have to be really careful with the Kriss, especially if you're trying to kill someone while you're scoped in. You cannot burst fire with the Kriss. It just moves diagonally way too fast. It just doesn't work. If you do decide to tap, you will also have to be really careful, because after you start tapping a bit too fast, again, the reticle is just going to fly sideways and it's going to throw you way off, unlike other SMGs where it doesn't matter how fast you click because the reticle is just going to go up and down. This is a different case with the Kriss. It just goes diagonally so much. It's just really hard to tap with, really hard to burst with, and not a very good weapon overall just because of this screwed up recoil pattern. Now, moving on to modifications, extended magazine definitely required. The Kriss comes with 28 rounds per magazine, and it has insanely fast rate of fire, so you will need an extended magazine on it, either extended magazine 1 or 2, it doesn't really matter because the Kriss has very fast reload. Now, as for suppressor, I would definitely not recommend a suppressor for the Kriss. In this game, you might see me using the suppressor, but that's just to show you guys how the Kriss works with the suppressor. I would not recommend one because it changes from a 4-shot kill to a 5-shot kill with a suppressor, so totally not recommend one. Now, as for scope, I would not recommend one at all just because it's not going to help you. The recoil pattern is just way too messed up. You can't really take advantage of a scope, so don't worry about that. Now, for my final words for the Kriss is a bad SMG overall, and the reason for that is because Nexon decided to give the Kriss a diagonal recoil pattern, which messes up the gun entirely. Without such a messed up recoil pattern, the Kriss could have been a decent SMG, but unfortunately Nexon decided to mess with the recoil pattern, so the Kriss is not a gun I would recommend, especially for beginners. It's not a very good gun at all. And also, the Kriss is very expensive for SMG, costing 1200 GP to use per day, which is the same price as the MP7 and the PP19, which are far better buys than the Kriss, definitely. But if you can look past the recoil pattern and can control the gun very well, the Kriss is a very good SMG. It's got decent power, insanely good rate of fire, excellent accuracy for a SMG, great portability. Everything is pretty much good about it except for the recoil. And yeah, the game pretty much ends here. My final score for my Two Towers game is 20-7, and my final score for my Gravedigger game was 14-4. Thank you guys for watching, and let's move on to the shoutouts. Hey guys, it's FallenHobo here with the shoutouts. First, a shoutout to Good Fight for the Tiger Stripe Camo for a day. Next, a shoutout to Six Step, also known as Wowie, for a Tiger Stripe Camo for a day. Next, a shoutout to Turtle Guns for M67 Frag Pack. And a shoutout to Cool Guy 158 for the MP5 mod for 7 days. Thank you guys.